Welcome to SKYPODCAST.
A Spotify exclusive.
It's okay. It's just... Okay, Roman. Okay, Roman. Why? Go. Tell them why I'm awkward.
So, si Chris, there's this Facebook group that we have, the Sky Podcast Facebook group. There's a link on the description. Pero, merong nagsasuggest na, I hope Slater and Chris can talk about their lives in their 20s. It was more of Chris. Pero
our adventures daw before we got married, because when she started following us,
yes,
we were engaged na. So,
and then
sabi niya, gusto niya ng very light podcast, kwentuhan lang, chikahan lang about our lives pre-Chris and Slater.
Pre-Chris and Slater. Okay.
So, ano nga ba, love? Balik natin sa'yo.
More sa kanya naman. Si Chris, ayaw daw niya pag-usapan yung sarili
Di naman
niya.
sa ayaw. Na-awkward lang ako.
It's funny though.
I don't like attention. You know that?
But it's funny that you're awkward to share your life in a podcast, but you share it every week in the vlog.
Yeah. But because I share it in snippets and I share it kung ano lang yung comfortable kong sasabihin. Diba?
Si Chris
Pero
has
if it's
this
all
thing,
about me, parang everyone's listening to my life, everything, ganon.
Si Chris has this thing about being put on a spotlight. Ayun niya.
Ayoko.
Ayun niya na,
I don't like it when like, I love meeting you guys and having photos, but if it's so many and they're all staring at me, I get so awkward, like, oh my gosh, like, para akong, yung fear of public speaking ba, ganon.
Really?
Like, I really don't like it when so many people look at me. And because in the podcast setting, it feels like it's so quiet and everyone's listening to you and you're on a microphone. So if I talk about other people or if I talk about things that I've learned, it's okay, it's light. But if it's like, what have you done in your life? It's like,
now overwhelmed siya. Yeah.
I don't know if that's
and I think there's a
it's
lot
different for the vlog eh.
Si Chris ganito. There was one time that we went to an event and then sobrang grabe, daming tao, daming mga Sky fam that actually went and
What
wanted,
event was this?
This was the one in Central Block, the Unbox event.
Yeah.
And si Chris kasi has this thing wherein like, everybody came here for us and I have to take photos with everyone. Sabi ko, hindi mo kayang magpapapicture sa hundreds of people. So I was like telling her na,
I felt so bad because syempre, there was a poster saying that Chris and Slater would be there and so many people showed up, which we didn't expect.
yes, hindi din namin in-expect na ganyan karami.
Because it was just, hey, can you guys cut the ribbon? I'm like, oh yeah, sure, it's my brother's store. Why not? We show up. Then so many people were there that we had to get security. That's not a life that I'm used to.
Okay.
And I value my time so much that when people ask me to show up, diba, there has to be something. So when people show up for me, I want to give them something. But what can I give them?
Yeah.
It's not my event. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you ended up feeling bad about
I felt so bad. Yeah.
Na parang hindi niya siya makapag-picture sa lahat ng tao.
Yeah, or I don't, because there's too many, right? Like, I would have loved to sit down at a cafe and if I meet someone that, follows me and then we can catch up and actually talk and get to know that person, I would love that. But if it's like, it's just awkward when there's so many people and I feel like I'm on stage because I'm really not built for this. I need the connection.
Hindi ka kasi kagaya sa akin.
No, I can't.
Artista.
No, I can't. I really can't.
Kumakanta, sumasayaw.
Yeah, no. I don't know how you did it before, love.
No, I was kind of like thrown into the fire of that whole thing. And I feel like it was an advantage.
Life in your 20s. Go, magkwento ka na.
It was an advantage because there were people guiding me. Like after PBB.
Like coaching you talaga.
Like this is like the standard kind of practice. Like you show up, you cannot take photos with everybody because it would be impossible. And I really felt the same way as you did. Like parang, ang dami pumupunta dito, hindi ba? Then I kind of like realized like, okay, we go to a concert, nandun si Taylor Swift, hindi naman niya, nagbayad pa tayo, hindi naman niya kayang magpa-picture tayo sa kanya lahat, diba? So it's kind of like that. And in a much like
grander
local
lower
setting.
Scale.
Yeah, but yeah, so parang nag-evolve. I mean, I was just good na nag-guide ako sa ganyan.
You know what it is? Sorry to cut you there, but I feel like it's if there's so many people, then the people that are there for you can be parang they're a collective. Parang they're people. But if it's just one person, then I know the
There's a
name.
personality.
I know the personality. I know why she's there.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So if it's like a mall show.
So, tapos na tayo sa ganitong back to your life na tayo.
Ayoko na.
So si Chris started off as the crush ng bayan sa Ateneo.
Ano ka ba? Can you talk about your life na?
Crush ng bayan ka ba?
Can you please continue
No.
your life?
Just answer that question.
I don't like. I don't like what kind of a thing? I don't like it. You know, you're very GGSS. Me, I don't like.
No.
I don't like the attention.
Asking. Like, I think I've already shared my... The question was catered towards Chris's life in her 20s. Si Chris, ma-party girl to siya. Nag-Paris na siya.
So ikaw na lang mag-story sa life ko.
Ano ulit yung course mo? Something about vlogging?
So I went to Ateneo BS Vlogging. BS Vlogging, minor in YouTube.
Pero totoo naman talaga. Like, if someone asks you a question about, can you talk about your life? Like, where do I start? Like,
Yeah.
It's like...
It's so much.
It's like the question wherein, can you be funny? Like, ang hirap. Pero pag sasabihin mo, can you tell me a knock-knock joke? Parang
Sige nga.
knock-knock
joke nga.
I don't know. I forgot all these knock-knock
jokes. On the
jokes.
spot ka talaga, hindi ka
Yeah.
makakaisip. Yeah, true. Wala lang. But, I don't know, life in my 20s was a lot different from when I met you. Super different. I tell a lot of the younger people that I don't say coach because I'm so old. But okay, so growing up when I was a little girl, my parents were super duper strict. Like I was never allowed to sleep over anyone else's house. If I wanted to go out to the mall, 'di ba usap yung malling before? Parang I had to ask 2 weeks, 3 weeks in advance. Tapos may essay pa yan kung bakit, sino kasama ko, Q&A, lahat. Multiple choice, lahat, nandyan. It was that bad na if I wanted to buy fishball or squid ball outside of the school gate, bawal. Like, I can't leave the school gate. One foot out the gate, I'm dead. Like, ganun yung levels ng strictness. So, when I went to college naman in Manila, and my parents weren't there, it was kind of like, na-release sa tangkal ba? How do you say that in Tagalog?
Like
You're out of your cage. Nakabuhi. Yeah, you're out of your cage. I can do what I want.
Bisaya mo kapag nakabuhi.
Yeah.
Okay, anyway.
Parang it was just so new to me to have that independence.
Was it like, okay, my parents were so strict, now it's time to party? Ganyan?
No, not really. Because they were so strict and syempre I was still living under their roof and I respected them. So I was still scared. Parang kind of like you're free but you're scared. Kind of something like that.
Hindi ka naman like pinapa-check-in from time to time?
No, but everyone around me were spies. Like I had a driver, I had a yaya, I had an auntie, like spies.
Okay.
Diba? My sister was there. Basta mga spies talaga.
Wow.
Wala talaga. Like I couldn't do anything.
Nakayaya sa college. Wow.
Yeah. Spoiled. Anyway. Whatever. Say what you want to say. I can't change the fact that that's true. I'm not gonna lie about it. So anyway, I had this understanding that everything outside of what I knew was bad. So I had this understanding that, okay, if I go out late pala, it's bad. If I party pala with my friends, I'm gonna be a bad person pala.
Okay.
Kasi that's all I knew, diba?
Okay.
From that kind of strict upbringing. Obviously, I'm not blaming my parents. They just wanted to keep me safe. But fast forward to when I was working and making my own money and meeting different people from the industry I'm now in, which is everyone's an extrovert.
Yeah.
Everyone wants to have adventures and, make a name for themselves. Everyone's a go-getter. So I found a barkada that I really resonated with. Lahat kami maarte. Lahat kami, parang we were all content creators. At the time, it was even called content creators. We had websites.
Was this Sila Lau?
Sila Lorraine, yeah. And
okay.
super party girl. And we could finally travel for work. And I had an excuse to get out of my house because, it was for work. I was getting paid to travel, all of these things. So my parents finally gave me that freedom.
How did it feel before that? How did it feel for you to be able to make your own money? And like spend your own money?
I never really had issues with money. I'm so sorry to say.
Wow. Edi ikaw na.
No, I think I never really had issues with, I was never a spend. I've always been frugal my whole life.
Okay.
If I have allowance, let's say 100 pesos yung allowance ko, I'll just spend 20. Magbabaon talaga ako kahit may pera ako from or for the cafeteria.
I would like that. That's why I asked the question. Kasi feeling ko like iba kasi yung allowance money versus like this is my money. I can spend it whatever way I want.
I never had that feeling na grabe. Because I think with you it's different because even now you're like, oh, what can I spend to celebrate this project? You're always like that. And I never think that way, ever.
Okay.
I guess because we were raised, parang sobrang tight nila mommy and daddy. Like, sobrang tiger. So their values really were ingrained in my brain na, do you really need it? How many times are you gonna use it? Ganun.
Okay.
Yeah, growing up. So there was... Parang there's always a practical aspect. So yung allowance ko, even though it was little or just enough for me, parang there's always something to save.
Okay.
Parang never siya naging issue sa akin. And when I was making money, it wasn't like, okay, tomorrow you'll get $1 billion. It was like, it was little by little. We started
oo, no? Kasi
website.
at that
There was
time, hindi pa siya mature masyado.
Yeah, there was no influencer.
Dati it
we
was
just
more
did it as a
of,
hobby.
Yes, and
if meron man magbibigay sa'yo, it's rare and few in between, you know?
yes, and free. Kadalasan, bigyan ka ng free products, ganyan.
Yeah, like in college, I got free shoes. I was like, whoa, jackpot, free shoes.
Yeah,
diba?
yeah.
Tapos, naalala ko nga, we were sponsored. Kakausap ko lang with Vern, before, Vern and Cis. She was also a blogger before. And we were talking about, oh my God, now the YouTubers or the content creators these days are so baller even though they're still so young. Di kami sanay because when we were that age, masaya na kami sa SM Accessories na nag-sponsor sa amin. Sabi ko, oo nga, di ba meron tayong monthly allocation? Tapos magkita-kita kami sa mga event. Hanggang dito yung SM Accessories namin, sobrang dami. Suot namin lahat. At proud na proud kami, di ba? Parang,
yes, I remember those days.
It wasn't really about money. It was never about money. Yeah. But back to my story, like it's about gaining independence at a certain part of my life na realizing that all of these things that I thought growing up isn't true. Because, you know, I understand where my parents are coming from. Okay, let's say Lorraine and Camille and I, it was the three of us, we would go to Phuket and we would party our eyes out and like it was so crazy. And yes, I understand where my parents are coming from na. Now that I have kids, I'm like, I'm not gonna allow my daughter to do what I did. If you guys want to hear the full episode, you can
check us out on Spotify.
Spotify.